So, good evening and welcome to All About Sport, live from the top of the town studios in Conley Street, Cavan, on your local channel, cavantv.com. Each week we will continue to include a wide variety of sport from all around County Cavan. If you would like your sport featured on All About Sport, simply contact drumnamedia@gmail.com. This show will be live on the internet on cavantv.com every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. and on Smith's Cablevision in Cavan Town. Cavan TV heads for Breffni Park this week to talk to Cavan GAA officials and players.
Tom, the much talked about challenge between Kildare and Cavan.
Yes, this is the big game. It has been got an awful lot of air, possibly the biggest round of the qualifiers. Everybody's talking about it. We're very close to the throw-in now, and I'm looking forward to it. I think the players are looking forward to it too. But it shows you what championship buzz, and when the media takes an interest, as some generate the interest that has been generated in this game, it's great for the GAA, and that's what I'm delighted for. But it's great for Kingspan Breffni Park to be hosting a game of this size today. And I believe any other of the qualifiers wouldn't have brought the same crowd as this was going to bring. I think we have a great chance of winning this game, and that's what I'm looking forward to now at this moment in time. Today is the beginning of a Cavan era, which is important. You know, people, very young team, going out playing against a team that, you know, if they lose today, it's the end of the line for them, and that's what's at stake for Kildare. The stakes are not that high for Cavan in the sense that if we put in a good performance, a lot of people will be happy. I won't be happy. I'll be happy with a victory here today because I believe this young Cavan team are well capable of winning.
But this young team has had success in the past at under 21 and at minor levels, so they're used to it. And while they're against a formidable team, they reckon maybe the fourth best team in the country, and so that Kildare might be a year or two ahead of us in development, but still the hopes are high for Cavan.
Oh, the hopes are high for Cavan, surely. And as you said, they have won matches here. You know, they've won the under-21. They've come through. They're a successful team. But I think the major thing for this Cavan team is that final 20 minutes in Enniskillen was a prime time when things had happened for them. That shows you that this team can come back, win matches when it looked like they were gone with 10 minutes gone in the second half. And if they get that on the wind under their sails today like they did, then I think we'll have a great game out here. And it'll be a clean game of football because Kildare are a very clean, good footballing team, and that's important. But for Cavan today, they fear nothing. The pressure is on Kildare, and that's the way we want it.
And of course, they will have a player that well, not everybody, but of course a number of people will come to see. Seanie Johnston, now a former player with the county team. So, what's your views on the transfer and all the buzz that's around that?
Well, my views are well known. I believe that, you know, county football, the GAA has a tradition that we don't, you know, transfer one county to another, that there's policies in place and things in place. Sometimes players have to transfer to counties where they're working and living in for a period of time and making their home. This is not the case in this case. My views are well known. This transfer should never have happened, but it did happen, and that's life.
Right. Now, we spoke to Declan Woods last week and also to Terry Hyland after the game in Enniskillen, and they are putting their plans in place, not based on any one individual or any team. They're working on the strengths of their own players. So you see that work that has gone on from the start of the development teams, you find that will stand us in good stead today.
Terry and Anthony took on the job. They're going out in this game to play against the Kildare 15. They don't mind who's thrown into the mess. Kildare is all great footballers. They have 15 good footballers before anybody else joined them. But as the sign says above it, Mahara, we grow our own lilies, and our lilies are very fresh, and that's what I'm looking forward to today.
So when the Cavan players put on the Cavan jersey in the dressing room, that's what you're about, and that's what Cavan's about?
When a Cavan player puts on the jersey today, more than any other day in the past in Cavan football, when they put on a Cavan jersey, they'd be very proud of that Cavan.
Now we're in Breffni Park with a few more of the spectators. You're at a very good location here to have a good view of the game.
Yeah, I think Kildare should do well today. I think the game against Meath was they were very tired, I thought, and lethargic. I just think today that they learned their lessons the last day, and I think they'll kick on today. Like, I think they're good enough to win today. But Cavan are not too bad. They've beaten Fermanagh. You know, there were 7 or 8 points down and they came back, so there will be a threat today because of the Seanie Johnston thing as well. But I think Kildare just have enough in the tank to pull through today.
Well, Cavan has a young team, so they're just hoping to do reasonably well, and with Kildare being a major force within the senior ranks in the championship, you would feel that they'll probably outshine Cavan today.
I think they will. I think it's just the last day they were over complacent, they were overconfident. I just think they were a little bit tired on their feet. I just think today they'll learn an awful amount of lessons today from playing Cavan. I just think being in the last 4 or 5 teams in the country in the last couple of years, I think they'll learn the lesson today, and I think they'll kick on from there. I think they have the forwards to do it.
Now, do you feel that the conditions today will help the game?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think Kildare play well in the wet conditions. I think they're suited for a dry day, and I think we're up for a great game. I think Cavan will put it up to us, but I think in the last 10-15 minutes, I think Kildare are good enough to pull away.
Your views is that Kildare will advance to the next stage of the championship?
Well, I'm hoping they will. I'm just hoping they will, because I know Cavan have a great tradition here in Breffni Park. They're very hard to defeat here in Cavan, but I just think Kildare, with the experience like Kieran McGinney's bringing to the Kildare team over the last 4 years, I think he'll push on today.
Well, we spoke to the manager of Cavan at Brewster Park when they defeated Enniskillen, or Fermanagh, and he said that they were just glad to get the win, but with the young team, and they were hoping to build on that. So they don't have any hopes of winning or losing today, just to do well.
Yeah, well, I think on any given day, any team can win an important match. I think home advantage is a massive plus for any team. Cavan probably thinking that they could cause an upset. I mean, you've seen Galway, Antrim bet Galway, you've seen Wexford lose as well. So I mean, on any given day, any team could lose. But on the basis of what we've seen Kildare go through in the last 4 years, I think their confidence is growing, and it's a major upset against Meath, and every team has an upset, but I just think today Kildare might just pull through by maybe 2 or 3 points, if that. I'm just hoping they'll pull through.
There are a lot of supporters here from Kildare today, so that probably will help the team.
Well, Kildare always had big support. I mean, you look through the stats in Ireland, Kildare are probably one of the biggest crowd pullers in the country. I mean, Cork and Kerry always wait to the latter stages of the championship, but Kildare always brought big support to any venues, and they're probably the 3rd or 4th largest supporters in the country, and that helps the team go through different stages of the championship.
So as the game develops, you'll row in behind the team?
Oh, big time. I come up here with not massive expectations, but enough just to see where the changes will be made today from the last day. I mean, you have to learn as you go through every match. I just think Kildare have enough strength and depth in their squad, but again, like Kieran McGinney, will have to make the right decision today in order to carry through. So decisions making today are very important.
So they'll have learned a lot from the previous game.
Oh, absolutely. I think the Meath game, I said, Kildare were overconfident, maybe overtired going in against Meath, and lacklustre performances. They never really threatened the Meath goal. So I think today they'll go all out, guns blazing, and hopefully do enough damage. But again, right off Cavan at their peril. I think Cavan are a very young squad. They have a good few under-21s coming up, but I just feel that Kildare will have to be wary of that threat, that full forward line of the Cavan forward line, because they are very fast and very sharp, especially with the Seanie Johnston saga going on. I don't know whether he'll make a start or not, but I think Kildare are good enough to kick on today.
But some of the Kildare spectators indicated that he's only one of a panel apart from even the team, so it's not that he's making a major contribution to the team. Well,
he hasn't played yet. I mean, he has to make himself available, and if he does play, he has to nail down the place. I mean, no place is certain, as you know yourself. But I just think if Seanie does play, I mean, people should give him a chance, and all he wants to do is play football at the end of the day.
So football should be judged today, not individuals or teams or counties.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I mean, you're as good as your last game, and if Seanie Johnston does perform, if he does come on today, he should be given the chance to play, and maybe he'll prove to Cavan that maybe Cavan shouldn't have let him go in the first place. So he has a lot to prove to Kildare and Cavan if he does play today, and I think if he should be playing today if he gets the chance.
Thank you, Now. We're here in the stands in Breffni Park with some shy and spectators here. What's your view on the game?
Kildare should win handy. 5 points.
So you've prepared, you know the Cavan team very well, albeit the Cavan is a young team, so would you feel that Kildare has a handle on them?
Experience, yeah. Experience will have.
And your loss earlier on to Meath, was that a big surprise to you?
Away, yes. Yeah. There's certain things happened, I suppose.
So you'd feel that the team has shaped up after that defeat and are coming here to prove a point?
If we don't win by 5 or 6 points, I'd be very disappointed.
So going home victorious.
Definitely.
And of course, as you know, that the interest in the media and the TV is about one single player. What's your views on one player as part of a team?
One player doesn't make a team. No interest in him at all. In my opinion, anyway.
So the team has prepared to play against Cavan.
If he plays well and good, he deserves his spot. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
So as a rank and file supporter of Kildare, to you it's not really a major concern?
No concern whatsoever.
You just hope for the team?
I think their team are well capable without him. So he hasn't proved himself to us yet.
Right, so and Kildare being in the top 4, you feel that will continue and maybe get well on in the championship?
But I hope so. Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Thank you. Well, that's the Cavan players after their photo shoot, out now on the pitch, getting ready for the game. There's great expectations of a good result from Cavan. I see Terry coming out, and maybe we'll get a few words with him at some point. Now we're in Breffni Park with Terry Hyland, the manager of the Cavan team. A lot of words written and a lot of video on the thing. Your hopes for today?
Well, it's all about the performance. And okay, media hypes things up. We're not here to hype anything up. We're here to play a game of football, we're playing Kildare, and all we want to do is in the right side of the scoreboard at the end of 70 minutes.
Right, so you have all Cavan players in Cavan jerseys today, so you hope to do well.
That's what it is all about. And they're proud to wear that Cavan jersey, and that's why they're there, and they're representing the county, and we want a result at the end of the day.
So your build up from Brewster Park, it's been a steady one, and your hopes are good?
Yeah, I think things are going well, training's been going well. Okay, we had club matches in between, which everybody else knows the clubs have to keep playing football, and that's what it's all about in the end of the day. It's all about playing football, and and that's what the hype has been the last 2 weeks. It's not been about playing football, but today is about playing football.
That's the Kildare team after the photo shoot out on the pitch for a warm-up. Now it will be interesting to see what the outcome is going to be and the list of players and who is going to play. So we'll wait and see the progress. That's half-time in Breffni Park with Cavan trailing 4 points to 2-11. Not a very pretty scoreboard, but as we saw in Enniskillen, Terry's men went into the second half with a few points behind, but it's going to be very difficult for him to pull out of the bag. As second half, we have Martin Dunner and his band as part of the preparations for Flacco in 2012, which I suppose is entertaining for both Kildare and Cavan supporters. But it'll be very interesting to hear what's going on in the dressing rooms. We hope that Cavan will come out with the same spirit as they did before and maybe narrow the gap Terry said that it was a young team and they're working towards getting points on the board and getting wins under the belt. But it is a very difficult task to come from 4 points to 11 behind. So hopefully the second half will see better tidings for Cavan. We're joined now by Sean Shields from Sean Shields Bookmakers. You have a number of places, so there must have been keen interest from your trade point of view in the game.
Big interest, you know, the 5 point spread, even money each of them, you know, and 14 to 1 a draw, but it's not working out any. Kildare boys are all getting the money and the Cavan boys are losing it.
All right. And apart from the booking making end of it, you have a keen interest in Gaelic football.
Oh yeah, I've been associated with Hill football for a long time, and was chairman last year and still on the committee this year, and we hope to be involved in the intermediate final this year if we could at all. We're doing very well at the moment. I was delighted to see young Hayes coming on there at half time. He's a good young lad, and I'd love to see him doing well.
Yeah, well, we spoke to Terry Hyland and he seems to have an interest in developing from some of the previous more successful teams in the county, the minor and under 21, and he acknowledges as a young team and just in the early stage of development.
I agree with him. It's great to see young fellas and forget about the old fellas. And even about the Seanie Johnston episode, when a fella wants to leave, let him go and forget about it, because there's no point in us dragging our heels in the ground. We've seen it down through the years. Fellas want to go to play next club or any other club. If they want to go, let them go, because when you pamper them, they'll ruin you.
Right. Well, we spoke to quite a number of the spectators from Kildare, and they're sort of the same view that if a person wanted to play for the club, just let him play, or for the county, and just move on, play it as a normal game. No, there's a lot of media interest in it, both on print
this
and...
thing of calling for a fella to the house and bringing him out to play football, that's wrong. But if you get a fella that comes down to the pitch and trains hard and accepts the conditions that you're playing under, it's a great... There's an appetite in Gut Hill now. There's an appetite in Gut Hill now from the young fellas on up. You know, we have a couple of young, we say, Joshua's brother Tom, 17, should have been on the minor team this year. Chris McCutcheon injured, and he's fantastic. You know, John McCutcheon will be back on that Cavan team again, but he got hurt, but he's still there out training. He played last week for us against Throng and played well. Joshua played well as well.
But Gut Hill had success, because we spoke to Gabriel Shalby that the hurling team were in the Ireland final, so they did remarkably
and they were robbed in it actually, because the point about it is there was only one umpire and the ball was up the field, and the umpire waved the goal, and that was the winning and losing of the game. And
only lost by a point.
Only lost by a
that
point.
Disputed goal would have made a difference.
Oh, big difference.
Silverware back to Gut Hill.
Hurling's very big in Gut Hill. It's a great set of young lads who play in the hurling.
Yeah, well, we spoke to Owen Morrissey and the two other, Francis and Vincent. We featured them on the show, and there's great developments both here in Cavan and in Ballygym.
Yeah, Gut Hill was, you know, really up and coming now. You know, we were unfortunate not to win the minor championship, we'd say, in Division 3. We're still Division 3 because we're surrounded by Kill, Drumgoon and all our teams. And when we did amalgamate with Drumgoon 2 years ago, we won it.
Right. So
there is
amalgamation on the way.
Our amalgamation again this year, and it'll go well now at the minor level. Unfortunately, we weren't involved with on the 16s. There was some mistakes somewhere along the line. I don't know where it was, but don't worry.
That might take. Now back to the football here in Breffni Park. What do you feel now Cavan can do that might improve?
Cavan can't improve. I'd hate to see them putting on fellas now and ruin your junior team that may be coming along. I know it's nice for Joshua to come on and play his first game here in Breffni Park, but no, I'd leave the team as it is if you could, and hold on to your juniors. Once Joshua can, and once he come on that field, he can't play with the juniors now in the championship.
Yeah, well, Declan Mudd spoke to us also, and he was saying that Kildare are about 4 to 5 years ahead of us on the development, and the game should be judged that way, that people shouldn't have expectations that Cavan were going to be equal to Kildare.
Yeah, they're going to take years. You know what I mean? We watched them in the minor championship last year, you know, the county. And that team will develop, the under 21s, they will develop. Out there they see we have an average of fellas, our average age is about 22.
And they're used to winning.
Compared to Kildare, their average age is 27.
Right.
So there's 5 years there to develop along the line.
And with the winning foundation on some of the players, they know the grit and determination is required to stick to pace and to build on their achievements today.
They have to be committed. This thing of only turning up an odd time is only fooling the club and fooling themselves.
Right. Now, Sean, maybe you hate to mention, will you lose on the game, or you know, with the way people have bet on it?
I'll lose on the game, but I'll win in others. You know what I mean? But the Shrewdy boys yesterday were back in Limerick +3, which Limerick won. They're back Kildare. These are the boys that know about football. You know, the fellas that are all around the.
And would you have found that you have shops in quite a number of locations? Would you have found that there's more business, I would say, particularly in football, where you might have members of a team that people will be backing because they know somebody and hoping and wishing them well?
Yeah, but then, as you know, the economy is gone, and the size of bets have gone down. Unbelievable, you know what I mean? It's very hard to compete with it. You know?
Well, thank you, Sean. And that's from the interval here in Breffni Park. And thanks, Sean, for
Thank
you, Sean.
I'm joined by Terry Hyland after that emphatic win by Kildare today. Your comment directly after the game, Terry?
Well, I was disappointed with the result, naturally enough, at the scoreline. I thought that it probably wasn't a reflection on how we played. We kicked 16 wide and at least kicked 8 or 9 short in the goalkeeper's hands. Now, I'm not making excuses for that. I'm making excuses for the lads for that. But it meant that we did have a fair bit of ball that we just weren't finishing it out.
Any day a team scores 3-20 and you score 1-9, I suppose there's not many questions or answers to that sort of thing. It's a pretty emphatic win.
In fairness, Kildare were the better team. I'm not taking away from that, and I would never take away from that. But you know what I mean? We did create chances, and we just have to learn how to finish those chances. We probably were something similar against Fermanagh, that where we created, you know, again the same. The wide tally is far too high, and that's something we need to work on.
They had lots of physique and they owned the ball in many areas of the field, and then they had this blanket defence and they played the foot pass forward out to the wings and spread eagle the Cavan defence. They seemed to have a good plan coming into the game. Yeah,
well, I suppose in fairness, 5 years down the road and their plans and where they want to be, you know what I mean, and you know, good luck to Kieran in that point. You know what I mean, he's got them up to Division 1, but I'd say, you know, their age profile and where they are at and the amount of work they put in is a lot further down the line than we are.
I suppose it's back to the drawing board for Cavan. You have to go in and work with these young lads. It's a young team, a young panel, and it's a learning process for them. And a loss, I suppose, like that so emphatically, not great for the morale, but I suppose we didn't come here maybe to win or look like winning today.
Well, that's true. Well, you know, I mean, we did come to win, you know what I mean, but maybe we didn't come along for a moral victory. And, you know, in the end of the day, that's sometimes we have been satisfied at Cavan with moral victories before. We know we have a lot of work to do. We know we have to go back and work on it. And, you know, in fairness, the lads had made a decision, not today and not last week or the week before, but decided after the Ringall game that they were going to work together as a unit for the better Cavan football.
I know Cavan have trained so hard for this game and they played so well against Fermanagh and got those 3 goals. Coming in against Kildare, it is a learning curve, even though you're well beaten today. They have to take something away from this game.
Well, that's true. You know what I mean? As I alluded before, you know, we have to stop kicking as many wides and balls short. That's just a belief and a confidence thing. And the longer these fellas play together, the more belief they will get and more confidence they will get. And you know what I mean? Opposed Jay, as far as we were concerned, was all about the performance. We did perform very well at times, and we performed very poor at times. And we have to just cut out those poor patches.
Midfield, they crowded out midfield, and for long periods we didn't get clean possession out there. And we fought hard for second phase possession on times. But was David Gibney had to go off? Was he injured?
No, David. No, in fairness to David, now he probably had he had problems before the game at home. There was an accident in the family yesterday, and I suppose in fairness to David, we took him off because of that reason at half time. We felt that maybe he wasn't in a good place.
And the whole Seanie Johnston affair, he made his appearance, he scored a point for Kildare, and that has moved on. Do you think that's put to bed now?
Well, I presume it is. I mean, it was put to bed everywhere, only with the media for the last 5, 6, 7 weeks. I mean, it probably was a bit of a circus, you know what I mean? But maybe in the circus you have to have clowns, but I don't know, we weren't part of the circus at any stage.
Terry Hyland, thank you very much.
Terry had said they're the young team, and They are working very hard. Some of the team members are in the Leinster semi-final against Kerry, so at least there may be some silverware for the county. So Louise, it's Brian Daly here signing off from Breffni Park. I'm back to the studio.
That brings to an end All About Sport for this week from the Top of the Town studios in Conley Street, Cavan. I will be back again next Wednesday evening at the same time to bring you more sport on CavanTV.com. Thank you to the Cavan GAA for taking time out to speak with us on the programme this evening. All About Sport was produced by Brian Daly and Michael Goldrick. The show was directed by David van Standen. If you want your sport featured on the programme, just send an email to drumlamedia@gmail.com. Stay with CavanTV.com, as up next is our weekly music show, The Green Room, presented by Paul Cox. So until next Wednesday at 7, it's goodbye from me, Louise O'Reilly.